Today we're going to be making the jacket for a slightly older child. This one is for a size about a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, and I've been just given a few basic measurements, so we're going to be working off those basic measurements and trying to define what cuttings we need to do. Now the full length of this dress is supposed to be, jacket is supposed to be 37 inches, so between that 37 inches I had to decide on what would be the waist length and what would be the bottom portion. Now that calculation, in my reckoning, it would be about 11 inches would be from the shoulder to the waist, so the bodice would be perhaps 11 inches, 11 inches between that, and the skirt part would be 27 inches. So what I'm going to do is, here I'm going to cut the skirt. We're going to do a slightly different cut because we want a little bit more, like on Inaya we did the full cone out of the 1 yard of fabric. Here I have 2 yards of fabric, and I want to make the gear or the swirl of the jacket a lot bigger. So what we're going to do is cut it on a full, and the fabric is laid out single flat. It's going to have just a seam at the back, which is, this is the grain, cross grain of the fabric, and this is where we're going to insert the joint. And then from the front it's going to be open. I'm going to try and work on the front as being, you know, flowing in one direction. So I'm going to cut these. I'm not sure whether it'll work or not, but I'm going to try. So here I've got the fabric. I'm going to cut the one portion. The pattern swirls are going in the one direction. From the back I'm not bothered, obviously they're going to go in the alternative direction because we're not going to create a cut in this. So the first thing, we've got to mark out for the waist. I'm going to take out the waist from here, and the waist size was 30 inches, so half of 30 would be 15, and half of the 15 I want is 7.5, so I want approximately 8 inches around here, what the bodice has got to, yeah, 16 inches. Yeah, this has to be 16 inches or 15 inches. Okay, and sort of we're looking at, for this we're looking at perhaps 10 inches down and 10 inches across, and then if we mark it off as a swirl, see what we get from here. Before we cut, we're going to mark and we're going to measure. So if this is going to be our waist, yeah, that is the 10 inches down mark is absolutely fine. Now there is something that I'm going to do. From the front I'm going to take the cut deeper, but then from the back I'm going to make it less. Okay, so we've taken out a sort of a cone shape from this. Now from here we're going to be measuring down. This is the front portion, and we want approximately 26 inches here. This is going to have a border, don't forget, so we don't want to, actually I'm going to make it less. I'm going to make it 24 inches because it's going to have a thick border and I don't want it dragging too much towards the floor. But from the back, obviously I want it trailed, so I'm going to make, at the back I'm going to make it 26 or even 27, which takes it almost to the end. Now this is about the center, and from the center I'm going to do this about 25, and then this 25 I want to meet it up with the point of the first, and this one we're going to bring it around and meet it up with, it's a bit difficult to see on this, but when I start cutting you'll get an idea of this will do is, actually this is going to give us a beautiful big flow to the jacket, more so. So what you have now is this is half of the jacket, and it's obviously it's trailing towards the back. That's the front, but it's going to get a beautiful flowy gear. So we want an identical one, cutting out from the rest of the fabric. We're going to get the fabric and we're going to try and cut it so that the flow is in the same direction. So we need to face the two sides facing each other. Okay, so this is going to be cut. Now I want to bear in mind that I've got to take out the sleeve from somewhere, and the pieces I'm not too bothered about because those we can take out from all our leftovers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up a little so that what I have left over from that side and what I have left over from this side, I can make the two sleeves. And this is 2 yards of fabric, so bear that in mind. And then these pieces, what we'll do is we'll cut along them and use it as the decorative borders. So this is exactly identical, and both the sides of the flow of the fabric is going in the one direction. that's the sleeves. Now these are our leftover pieces. I'm going to take away some of the excess and then place these all on the Wonder Web, and I'm going to cut around. Once we've ironed all these pieces onto the Wonder Web, we're going to cut around all the ones that we require to arrange into the motifs, and we're not going to, inshallah, waste any of this. There's plenty here to actually, for us to do the bodice and so on.